it's happening in New York or across the globe. Learn why it matters first on Kevin McCullough Radio.
Glad you're with us, and glad on Mondays to be able to talk with David Fischer, who is really concerned about your portfolio in this kind of crazy roller coaster year we've been on. Financially speaking, it's why we call it Money Monday. David, good to have you back. Thanks for being here.
It is a roller coaster, and it's the time to buckle our seatbelt and take a look at this.
Yeah, well, and just as a example, the indexes are flat again today. And this has been one of those years where last year you predicted that the bull markets were going to take place. In fact, I quoted you in my town hall column this weekend. I didn't fully give you credit for it, but I should. But I said that, an analyst that I knew was predicting that all these indexes were going to have a bull year in 2017, which they did. But this has really been the year of indigestion. Up big one day, down big the next, unloading treasuries, watching things go sideways. So we've got a flat market today. Is this just a breather? What's going on?
Well, there's not a whole lot of Trump tweeting, and there's not talks so far this week about tariffs, and so there's not a lot of economic data being talked about by our president on the public side, but there's things that he's actually working on behind the scenes for the betterment of America, and we thank him for that. But this is a time where we're going to have huge earnings being reported this week and next week, and that could possibly drive the market upward or cause it to be flat. I don't think we're going to have bad earnings, but we're in a push-me-pull-you environment where we have a whole lot of components, the tariffs, what's going on with China and also Russia and the United States. We have the Fed raising rates. We have the dollar being unloaded. We have ultra-conservative, rich people that are forecasting massive recession happening. The forecast just came out by J.P. Morgan's Private Bank's Spring Investment Barometer.
Really?
Yeah, so we can talk about that. So this is the ultra rich people, 700 global private investors of J.P. Morgan. People that have $30 million or greater of liquid money. So that's a very high-end net worth. Ultra-rich is what they classify it.
Yeah.
75% of those ultra-rich people are saying we will have a recession in the next 2 years. Of them, 21%, a fifth, said it will be in 2019, and 50% said it's going to happen in 2020. So the big money of the world is seeing something on the horizon, something I've been saying. I'm not an ultra-rich investor like they are, but the big money is saying, watch out, this is going to make a big change here. That's where the indicators are leading us. And we're having some indicators like the 10-year note that is trying to hit 3%. And I said, once we hit that, we're going to have some problems. And it could happen this week or within next month. So we're having some major indicators here.
What are the banks? How are the banks set to handle a recession? Are they capitalized enough to endure it?
Well, thank God, we've learned some things from 2008, and the banks were required fully to recapitalize significantly, gearing up for the next event. It's not a matter of if we have one, but when. Europe is implementing, and the EU implementing a whole new protectionary financial system from failing banks here this week. They announced it last week. But unfortunately, we've implemented it in our country in banks, but now we're taking it away, those buffers. There's a bill in the Senate, 2155, that will cause, it was passed, if it gets signed into law by the president, this will allow banks to lower their cash holdings. This will allow banks to no longer need an annual stress test, which is a test that says if they have enough money on hand, and also they will no longer need to have a living will, what happens when they get into financial trouble. So we seem to be going the opposite direction that the world is going in the United States, unfortunately.
Well, that doesn't seem to be good. So I'm guessing the outflow of that is if banks aren't ready for it, then we have to be in our own individual accounting for our own finances.
You're exactly right. The United States, what happens in our country really dictates to the economic environment around the world, and maybe this is why the big ultra-rich are saying something bad is going to happen. And this revolves around the Fed raising rates. When we get to next year, they unravel a whole bunch more money off their balance sheet while rates are much higher. This will be a bad economic environment for stocks and not so good for dealing with our debt, so this is why it will be recessionary.
So let's talk about commodities, specifically gold, in inflationary environments, because it's been my typical experience that when real estate and cash are bad, gold does much better. Is that true?
That is true, and if we move into an inflationary environment or recessionary, this time it's totally different because we have a debt structure that's unmanageable. Even what the IMF said last week, that the United States is not managing their debt. They're the only country in the world that's going backwards on this. So historically, in those two environments, when we have inflation or recession, gold doesn't always perform, but this is a different environment. We have inflation showing us coming on the horizon, and historically gold has performed. That's the best environment for gold. Last time we had a recession in 2008, and gold performed 50% in 2009. So, I mean, it went on a multi-year run, doubling in just 3 years. So we're in that environment again. People are calling for another type of recession, maybe as large as 2008. I say get prepared.
Okay. Well, and one of the ways, friends, that you can be is by arming yourself with knowledge, which is why the new white paper from Landmark Capital is really key. It's called Time is Up, Which Bubble Will Burst First to Trigger the Coming Great Deflate. And it is a beautiful piece of documentation that Landmark has put together. It's absolutely free, and it's part of the 2018 Financial Survival Packet, which is yours just for asking when you call 844-604-2575. In that survival pack, you also get a membership to their Insiders newsletter. You get a number of other resources, several pieces of essays and white papers that Landmark Capital has put together, and other significant things. So get your Financial Survival Guide for 2018. It's totally free, but it's worth about $189 when you call 844-604-2575. You can also request one online at landmarkgold.com, and when you do, you will be entered for your chance to win a Liberty Gold 1-ounce $20 gold piece the weekend of July 4th. It's a Liberty coin, which is fantastic because it celebrates the American independence and freedom, and that will be drawn again on the weekend of July 4th. We look forward to announcing that winner July 6th here at Kevin McCullough Radio. David Fischer, always appreciative of your efforts to keep us protected and safe. Thank you for your time today, sir.
Thank you, Kevin.
Get your Financial Survival Guide, $189 value, absolutely free right now when you call 844-604-2575, 844-604-2575, or landmarkgold.com.